In this video, we'll cover 6 essential types of core training that you might be overlooking. We will discuss core training for different scenarios, like in a pushing or pulling situation, with an extended or dished position, and where our core musculature remains in the same position versus moving at various complex lengths. The mechanics behind each exercise and how they'll boost your climbing performance, and how to implement them to become a stronger, more efficient climber. By the end of this video, you'll have a few extra tools that will not only strengthen you, but also prepare your body for the unique challenges that climbing demands. By the end, you can take a pair of 2 out of the 6 exercises and integrate them into your next training routine. So let's dive into the solutions. The first pair is where we will engage our core in an isometric state versus a complex state. In the isometric state, our core musculature will remain at a similar muscle length. This is an important skill in many climbing techniques where we need to create tension with our limbs staying unmoved. In the complex state, our tissues will constantly change their distance from one another. This is equally important in climbing circumstances where multiple limbs are moving and generating tension simultaneously. The exercise we will use for our isometrics is called a dish hold. This exercise can be progressed and regressed to almost any level. The easiest variation is a tucked variation. Lay on the floor and press your lower back into the ground. From here, lift the butt cheeks and shoulders off the floor while maintaining a 90-degree angle in the knees. To increase the difficulty, lift the arms overhead. Progress further by extending the knees and lowering them closer to the floor while maintaining the lower back pressed into the floor. Perform your appropriate variation for 1 continual minute. This exercise can be perfectly combined with a less linear approach by performing a complex crawling pattern. Here you will take place on 4 limbs and move over a certain distance. The aim is to always move the last remaining limb forward and try to tie yourself into a knot. Make sure to not take the easy step, but really try to tangle yourself up. Perform this for 2 minutes and pair it with an isometric hold for 3 total sets. Our second block is where we will combine an arched core position versus a dished core position. In this arched situation, we'll have more of an open hip and shoulder position, where in the dished end range position, we will maintain a relatively close shoulder and hip position. The arched position will be found more in the open phase of a swing or a cut loose and will allow us to have a better access to overhead positions. The dished position will be found more when climbing compression type moves or when initiating a swing. For the arched position, we will perform a bridge wall walk. Stand around with 1 arm's length away from the wall and arch backwards until you touch the wall with both hands simultaneously. Press the hips forward to release pressure from the arms and walk down as far as possible. If you would feel discomfort in the lower back, try to maintain tension in the abdominals and glute muscles. Once you reach your lowest position, walk back upwards and repeat the same motion. If you are able to fully reach the floor, try to bring the heels in contact with the ground and press your chest bone towards the wall to open the shoulders even further. You can perform this variation for 3 sets, where you perform 3 to 5 repetitions every set. In between your sets, you can work on the exercise for the dished position called inchworms. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart and lower your head into a Jefferson curl-like fashion. Curl down 1 vertebra at a time and try to keep the head as close to the body as possible. Place your hands on the floor and walk them as far forwards as possible. Once you reach your maximal distance, fully reverse the motion. Repeat this for 3 to 5 times after a set of arched wall walks and progress to the reversed variation. Here we will repeat the same lowering pattern, but we will start walking the feet backwards with extended knees. Again, repeat it for 3 to 5 times and rest 1 to 2 minutes after every inchworm. Before we go to the last pair of core exercises, I want to tell you about my online coaching program called Movement Practice for Climbing. Here we teach climbers how to develop a general movement practice compatible with their climbing specific training. This program will teach you how to develop skills like pull-ups, ring muscle-ups, front levers, handstands, dragon squats, and basic hip mobility over the course of 2 12-week programs. Check the link in the description if you would like to start bringing your climbing practice to new heights. So for our final pair, we will challenge our core musculature in a pulling and pushing situation. Engaging our core when pulling is often used in climbing. When we're climbing in an overhanging situation, when initiating a swing, or when performing a high step. A pushing pattern in climbing happens less often compared to a pulling one, but is still important for improving your presses, mentals, or when pushing for a dead point. The hanging exercise is called a hanging leg raise and will give you 3 variations to work on. If you are a complete beginner, you can try to lift your knees for 5 to 8 times while you remain in a regular hang. If this is easy, you can try to touch your knees to your elbows with a high tuck, again for 5 to 8 repetitions. If these variations are easy, you can progress towards a straight leg lift, again for 5 to 8 repetitions. We can combine these variations in a superset with our pushing pattern, where we will perform a tripod lift. Our basic variation, accessible to most, is called an elbow to tuck. Place your head in a triangle shape with your hands and place your knees on your elbows. From here, lift your pelvis above your head and maintain the tucked position. Reverse the motion and place the knees back onto your elbows. Make the exercise harder by extending the knees while in a top position. If these variations go well, you can try to perform a tripod pike press. Place your head and hands in the starting position and lift your legs while maintaining extended knees. Once you reach the top, slowly lower yourself downwards and repeat. Repeat every variation of the hanging leg raises and tripod lifts for 3 to 5 times and repeat it for 3 sets. Rest 1 to 2 minutes after every pair of lifts. So to recap, our first exercise was an isometric dish hold with the complex crawling pattern. Here we perform 1 minute of dish holds in combination with 2 minutes of complex crawling patterns. Perform 3 sets and take a minimal amount of rest after every crawling set. Our second pair was the bridge wall walks in combination with the inchworms. Perform the arching variations for 3 to 5 repetitions for 3 sets and the 2 inchworm variations for 3 to 5 repetitions after every arching set. Take a 1 to 2 minute rest after every inchworm variation and repeat. And for our pulling and pushing variation, we perform 3 to 5 reps for each variation of the 3 sets and rest for 1 to 2 minutes after every set of doubles. So these were our 6 core exercises. I hope they will be valuable to you and help you in improving your climbing performance. But to be honest, there is no reason to focus on the outside if the inside is not treated well. So check out this video if you really want to bring your full core and climbing performance to another level.